What's amazing to me is that if he's going to take the time to lecture American journalists on how to do their job, that now's the time he chooses to do it, right, Rich? Like now, once again, democracy dies in darkness. That crew's back.
Yeah, right.
They went totally silent during the 4 years of Joe Biden. And it's not like he didn't do things to excess. It's not like he didn't ignore our laws. It's not like he didn't, open the southern border, all those things. He had absolutely no interest in lecturing the press on how to do their job, even though they went totally silent during those years. It's only now that Trump's back in office that he feels the need to remind us of our responsibility to truth and integrity.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that are shrouded in darkness. One, the president's condition, which we talked about. We're still learning more about what people on the inside knew and saw and did, by the day. The border, again, these were things that were out in the open. So the operation to hide them did not succeed because people could see with their own eyes. But they didn't acknowledge that, again, until late in 2024, the middle of 2024, that finally realized, this is going to get Donald Trump elected. We at least should try to do something about it. And then just the insanity of the trans stuff. And there's some cracks there. They're just cracks, right? It seems it's brave in the Democratic context for Gavin Newsom to say, there's a fairness issue for if a male plays in a female sport. But they tried to hide all that. They tried to gaslight us all on that. They said we were hateful, retrograde, purveyors of disinformation, all the rest. But the public could see the truth, which was a big reason that Donald Trump won last November.
Like most of these Hollywood people, MBD, he doesn't have a grip on the facts, and he hasn't. But he's spoken out about many news stories in an effort to sway public opinion. And probably the one that comes to mind next after Biden was the Breonna Taylor case down in Kentucky, where he's from. So he came out after these officers executed a so-called no-knock warrant, though they did knock, and they went into the facility, this apartment. And this woman, Breonna Taylor, was shot and killed as they had a shootout with her boyfriend, who was in the hallway and shot first at cops. Her boyfriend shot first at cops who had announced themselves in any event. He spoke out about it and said her name was Breonna Taylor, and she was shot to death in her bed by 3 white police officers, which wasn't true. Breonna Taylor was not asleep in her bed. She got up too and came out in the hallway and was standing next to her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, as the officers announced their presence, knocked 6 times, and then resorted to a forced entry. This guy Walker admitted that he fired the first shot, and he hit. He hit an officer in the femur. The guy almost bled to death. Her ex-boyfriend was up to his neck in drug deals, and she was seen on tape with this guy going to retrieve packages with him, going to a trap house and so on. The media wants you to believe she was squeaky clean. George Clooney wanted us to believe she had absolutely no connection to anyone or anything nefarious, and that while she was asleep, completely innocent in her bed, 3 white cops just executed her because she's black. That was the implication, very clear. He was wrong on the facts, he was wrong on the implications, but that's what the Hollywood knee-jerk reaction is to news like that. And this guy now feels the need to lecture us about truth and integrity in reporting the facts.
Right. And remember, this is a guy who jumped on the story because he's from Kentucky. When was the last time he was in Kentucky? This is a man who spends his time on Lake Como and in Los Angeles. And while he was in Lake Como and Los Angeles, there was a huge news story that he could have shown some light on about Harvey Weinstein. Where was George? Well, he says, we knew Harvey liked girls, but we didn't know anything wrong was happening. Well, what? What was that? I mean, at least, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck made a penitent film, set in the Middle Ages about sexual assault. George Clooney just sidestepped the whole thing as if he didn't know anything about Harvey Weinstein or about the casting couch culture in Hollywood. And that's a story he actually could have shown some light on. And yet he goes on, the Academy Awards and congratulates himself and Hollywood for, quote, being out of touch with the rest of the country and being ahead of things like, civil rights or gay rights, et cetera. There's no real record of substance there from him where it would have counted. It's just he has he is a filmmaker. He has a taste for story, And so the narrative of what, he thinks should have happened in Kentucky fills his mind, and then he knows better than the cops what the standard operating procedure should be. I mean, it's a joke.
Right. Without doing any, homework to look into it. Of course, the subject of Kentucky came up with this loudmouth Patty Lupone, and he had to mention the Confederate flags. Like, that's the first thing that came to his mind in discussing his home state is the Confederate flags that he sees when he goes back to visit his parents in Kentucky. Nice. Yes, because that's what Kentucky's all about. When you think Kentucky, you think Confederate flag and the Confederacy. I mean, that's his mindset. I really do believe this guy's, obviously, his career is waning. His biggest days are behind him. I'm convinced he married this Amal Clooney just because he wanted to make himself seem like a more serious person. So he found some human rights lawyer that would legitimize him, because I guess he didn't feel that way with the professional wrestler. And now parades around Hollywood like he's some sort of dignitary, like he's had some ambassador work under his belt. It's not true. You actually have to study. I'm glad he went to Darfur. I'm glad he went to Sudan. But I mean, the fact is George Clooney must not know anything if he doesn't know that I'm a journalist. I mean, truly, like, not to toot my own horn, but like, I think literally anybody who watches the news regularly in America would know that and would have some idea of some of the highlights because they have gone everywhere in certain instances. So this is George just being, I only watch CNN or MS, I'm above it all, but I am in a position to lecture you, lowly American losers, especially the MAGA folks, on what you need to be a good, informed person. So good luck with that and your crappy play. Tariff wars, stubborn inflation, no wonder gold has been routinely hitting all-time highs. In volatile markets like the one we have now, don't sit on the sidelines with your head in the sand. You can take control and safeguard your savings. That's why so many Americans today are turning to Birch Gold Group. They have helped tens of thousands convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. Is it time for you to hedge against economic instability with gold? To learn how to own physical gold in a tax-sheltered account, text MK to 989898. Birch Gold will send you a free, no-obligation info kit. Again, just text MK to the number 989898. With an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews, Birch Gold has helped many protect their savings with gold. It took us decades to get into the tangled mess they're trying to unpack now in D.C. How long will it take to get us out? And at what cost? Text MK to 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.